Hello Nintendo Wii here. I've been very busy making my game recently. I thought I'd take a little bit of time out to make another video. So here we go. This is Retro Gamer Week, episode 33. And today we'll be taking a look at a Mega Drive game called Alisia Dragoon. I picked this up at MCM Expo a few days ago on the weekend and I just can't wait to tell you guys about it. It's pretty interesting and it's one I've been after for a long time. It was released in 1992 by a company called Game Arts. And in Japan it was actually published by them too. It's actually made by a company called Gainax. They're most well known for their anime series like Evangelion or Gurren Lagann, which is just incredible. What an awesome series that was. Anyway, this game, it's an action platformer at its heart, but it's kind of different than a regular action platformer. For one thing, you only have one attack and it takes up the entire screen every time you use it. Which is really unique for this sort of game because usually you just shoot like a little bullet and it just takes out the enemy right in front of you. But this one actually sends a lightning bolt all the way across the screen in the direction you're facing. It doesn't matter whether the enemy is above you, below you, straight in front. As soon as you press that attack button, as long as it's charged up in the corner, which I'll get to in a minute, you can kill anything that's in front of you. And you might think that would make the game easy, but actually the game is extremely challenging. The enemies come from every direction possible, they're just flying around like crazy, and it can become a bit overcrowded. The enemies do just pop out completely out of nowhere and you're dead before you even know it. This can be helped slightly by not using your attack all the time. You can actually charge up and use a stronger attack which actually sends out waves from both sides of your character, so you can actually take out all the enemies on the screen in one go. The game does take a bit of memorization before you actually can play through the levels without getting hit, without taking damage. And that's not really helped by the kind of clunky controls that the game has. It feels kind of awkward to move, but not only that, the jumping is extremely slow and awkward. It almost feels like Castlevania kind of thing, like once you start your jump it's very difficult to change your trajectory once you're actually in the air. It's much better to try and plan where you want to end up before you jump. It makes it really difficult to dodge the enemies as there's so many of them, and your character's quite big. It takes up a big portion of the screen, so you can't actually see that far ahead or behind in order to anticipate the enemies and get out of the way of them. It just doesn't work very well like that. What does work pretty well though, and is pretty cool and kind of unique, I haven't actually seen it happen many other times in games over the years, the fact that you can actually have an animal that follows you around. It can be a dragon, it can be an orb kind of thing. There's actually several different kinds of dragons that you can have, and they all have their own sort of powers. One of them makes a screen flash and kills all the enemies, another one shoots a little boomerang kind of thing, and you can level up these animals that follow you around while you're playing, and they make a really good backup for when you're either low on energy, when you're trying to save up for a strong attack, or when you're simply trying to get out of the way. The animal that's following you can actually help you out in situations like that. The graphics and the music are really, really nice. I can't really fault them. They look great, especially on the Retron 5 with the scan lines on, as you'll see in this video. The whole thing looks lovely, really. And I'd say it's a bit of a hidden gem, to be honest. I haven't actually heard anyone talk about Alisia Dragoon before. I've only picked it up because I've seen it in a few shops now and then over the years, and I thought, finally, I've got the money, I've got the time, I'm going to pick it up. At the expo actually I also picked up a lot of other really good games which hopefully will make their way into Retro Gamer Week videos in the future. Unfortunately the version of the game I got didn't come with the instruction manual, so I can't exactly pick up much of the plot from the actual game because it drops you straight into the gameplay. But from what I've read online, the story in the Japanese and the English version is actually entirely different. In the Japanese version, okay, let me try and get my head around this, Alisia's father actually imprisoned the main bad guy of Alisia Dragoon in a cocoon and sent him into outer space, however that happened. Apparently Alisia's father didn't know much about space and physics, because when he sent this cocoon into space, eventually it came crashing back down to Earth and the bad guy is about to reawaken, and it's up to you to go and stop him and stop his followers before your father gets killed, I think. That is completely different to what the English version of the game says, even though the two games are exactly the same. Apparently, the only connection these two games have is the fact that something came from space, because according to the English version of the instruction manual, the monsters are actually being created by a silver star which crashed and landed on Earth, and it's up to Alisia, a very popular gladiator for whatever reason, to go and stop them with the help of her magical animal friends. And that's where the game begins. makes about as much sense as any action platformer for the 16-bit consoles, to be honest. At the time of the game's release, it got really good reviews. It got mostly mid to high 80s, and looking at it today, I don't think I'd give it quite as high a score of that. I think I would give this, and I've spent a lot of time calculating this, 72.3%. So that's all for this week, just a quick video to tide you guys over and to let you all know that I'm still here. I haven't been updating anything much recently. I've been very busy making my game, as I'm sure you know. Hopefully I'll have a trailer to show you guys soon, so look forward to that. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this quick look at Alisia Dragoon for the Mega Drive, and I'll see you all in the next Retro Game of Week video, which will probably not be in a week's time, it may be in a month's time, it may be in 2 months' time, who knows? Well, thanks for watching, goodbye, and don't forget to subscribe.